Yeah, in the basement, Kelly, we believe there's a 45-year-old man. His sister is here. His son has now arrived at the scene. And we have a little bit of good news, some reason for optimism, as firefighters bring their heavy machinery, their chainsaws, their concrete saws here to try and break through. They did just make verbal contact with the man. We don't know his condition, but we know that they have communicated with him. Firefighters went back down inside of this hole. I think we're showing it to you now, that window in the basement level. They made verbal contact with the man, and they came back out. They were again frustrated by the fact that it's going to be really hard to get through to him. One firefighter said, if we move the thing that's in our way, we run the risk of more collapsing brick and debris falling down. So that's what they're trying to avoid. This is now becoming not just a desperate situation, but a sensitive one as they try to avoid any further collapse. You see that there aren't a lot of visible police and firefighters at the front of this house. It's because they've now shifted their efforts to the back side of the house and frankly on top of the collapsed brick in the back. They think they might have an opening there where they can make their way through. But again, family and friends are gathering around this scene. If I can show you a little bit down what I believe is Newstead Avenue here, Newstead in St. Louis. Look down the block, you see an entire collapsed house there. There isn't the same emergency presence there. So, you know, we see people moving some belongings from just a distance. We can see folks moving stuff out of there. So it appears from what we can see with our just an eye shot here, pardon me, it appears that some people may have had some valuables inside of there. We can assume that someone might have been living there, but there's not a search and rescue to pull anyone out. So it appears that we can say everyone has safely escaped from that scene. But you just look down, and as far as the eye can see, just out of the camera lens, there's a semi-truck flipped over. There are fire trucks. There's lines of cars with brake lights all behind a school bus, all waiting to get through the neighborhood. There have been several close calls. If you were watching at 4 o'clock, you might have seen this report on a house where the entire bedroom window and wall collapsed in, almost crushing a man, but he survived narrowly and came out and told us about it. A lot of wreckage and ruin in North St. Louis right now, and we're standing by hoping to hear from officials on what they're doing here and what their command center is. I will say, Alderwoman Sharon Tyus, this is her ward. She's been surveying some of the damage. She told me just a moment ago that right now she's very impressed with the quick response from the city, from the police, from the fire. She says that emergency officials and elected officials have really put a full force blitz out here to try and help folks. But as we're seeing at this scene in particular, some of that help is not going to be very easy. I want to throw it back to Scott Connell, our chief meteorologist, who's in our studios now tracking the rest of this weather and can give us a little bit more insight into how all this went down. Scott?
Well, we've actually got a